I'm in the studio today with Ross Laurenson from My Local Broker. Now, Ross's team at My Local Broker have been tremendous supporters of HomeSec Business Finance, and his brokers aren't afraid to offer short-term business loans as a solution to their client. Now, Rosco, as you're affectionately known, tell us a bit about that.
Well, I identified quite clearly that within my network, I've got brokers out there all competing for the vanilla type business. So when you scale it back, if we've got how many of there's 25,000 brokers nationally, not us, but as a collective.
Yep.
If everyone's in that fighting for that vanilla business, it's going to be it doesn't going to take long before businesses slowly wind down. So I wanted to identify for my network areas of opportunities they hadn't even considered. So I recently was speaking to an expert in the industry who told me there's 2.4 million small businesses currently under some level of financial stress, be it tax debt, be it trying to get their stock in, overdrafts are gone, equity's gone in their houses, they need money tomorrow, not available. So I wanted my brokers to be fully trained and skilled in that space. And that was the reason I reached out to you guys, because you guys are renowned for being the best in the business.
Well, thank you for that. And look, I've got to say, as I said at the intro, your team, your brokers, they just know how to sell it and they aren't afraid to offer it. And we find sometimes that brokers do tend to hold back and they think, oh, I can't possibly offer that. Whereas your team, they present it as a solution and it must work for them. Have you got feedback?
Look, I've got a classic situation recently where one of my brokers rang me and said, I've got a meeting and I'm really worried about the monthly interest rate. So I went with them to the meeting and we sat and spoke to the client and listened to his problem. We then offered the solution and we realised that this was the only opportunity he had available. When we discussed the rate, because we knew the funding was only going to be required for 2 months, so we spoke about the cost during that 2-month period and he was ecstatic. Does that make any sense? He was over the moon because his own bank, once he got there, was going to be at 14 or 15% on an overdraft facility and he had all these constraints. Well, then it was important that when we made the offer, we also knew the exit. So we knew what we could do next in that 2-month period. And that was how we provided the solution, because we also provided the exit. And I think it's very important for a broker to do that, because you are not the long-term solution.
Correct.
You're the solution now, and the broker needs to be skilled enough to take that client then back out into some level of normality.
Well, that's it. So well said, because the broker that introduces the deal will be the broker who will do the refinance.
Correct.
So they effectively get 2 bites of the cherry. They've solved a solution for the client. They look like a hero to their client, and there's no substitute for getting the money in 24 hours. 2 months just doesn't cut it.
And you know the other thing that has nothing to do with HomeSec, but as a result of my broker doing that, the client then spoke to his accountant, praised my broker, and then requested for my broker to go back in and talk to the practice on whatever else they could provide.
Well, there you go.
And that was a lot easier than a broker walking in through the front door and going, hi, I'm Ross Laurenson, mortgage broker, how do you like me so far? So it was the catalyst to get in front then of the decision makers at the accounting practice, because my broker clearly identified, he understood small business and he understood stress and compliance issues that some of these organisations have. And I was dumbfounded when I heard 2.4 million small businesses under stress.
It's incredible. It's incredible. And the worst part is so many small business people, the majority, don't even know short-term business lending exists.
Well, most brokers don't.
I was just about to say that, and unfortunately most brokers don't. We're slowly getting the education process out there. But look, Ross, I'm really impressed with the way your team have embraced it. It's just so refreshing. So I, first of all, want to thank you for that and all the effort and time you've put in and the education and that sort of thing you've put into your team. And I also want to thank you for coming in today and having a chat with us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ross. Cheers.